It was Mr. Funny Man Cow. He said he sent me this message. Or he put this message in reacts to YouTube, should I say. If I recall Moresty once rhetorically asking, has there been a Mario Kart opinion piece so bad it caused the creator to delete the video of the entire channel? There may not be one for Mario Kart, but there sure is one for Sonic. So this is during the dark era of Sonic. Oh my god, chat. Oh my god. He's got the video essay voice. Oh my god, he's got the video essay voice. Yes! Oh, this is gonna be peak cinema. Dear Sega, a Sonic the Hedgehog redesign. Re-upload not my video. Let's see how bad this video truly was.
I believe if you're going to criticize the creative content of others, bring a creative solution to the table with you. While this video analyzes certain aspects of Sonic's gameplay, I do not claim to be an authority on game design. I only mean to present creative ideas to a problem I recognize in a struggling franchise. Dear Sega, my name's Javid.
Oh, sorry, what was your name?
As in a struggling franchise. Dear Sega, my name's Javid.
Are you guys catching that? Am I having a moment? Hang on, chat.
My name's Javid.
Your name's what?
My name's Javid.
Jargon? I don't know. The music kind of like fucks with you when you say your name. So that's already fucking with me. But on top of that, as the chat has already talked about.
Dear Sega.
Sega? This isn't even like a British thing where there's some people that say Mario's Mario. So I had plenty of kids in school who would say Mario. I still know a couple of people in my real life who say Mario. I go with Mario. That just sounds cooler. I've never heard Sega. That's crazy, brother. That's chicanerous work. Almost as chicanerous as these Hershey's cookies and cream filled crepes that I'll be munching on as we enjoy this.
My name's Javid. I work as an animator for a creative studio in Sydney, Australia. I'm also a game design graduate and develop small-time games on the side. In this video, I'll be presenting my case for redesign for one of your most enigmatic franchises, Sonic the Hedgehog. It's no secret that your Sonic has seen brighter days.
Bagged creeps is insidious. You're insidious, bro, so if you know about that. Did you ever think about that? But you didn't, loser.
I'm sure you're very aware. You don't have to look far to find an opinion or article from writers explaining why they don't like your games anymore. I want to look at the cold hard data and present a creative solution for a redirecting, if you will, of your mascot. Before we go further, I think it's important that we look at your sales and your ratings, and take a look at how your platforming rival Mario is tracking as well. But let's move on to reviews.
Okay.
These are very important in gauging how successful the game was in connecting with your audience. So here is a graph of Sonic's reviews according to GameRankings.com. This tells us that Sonic 3 on the Genesis is your highest ranking game at 89%, while Sonic Boom, again, is at the lowest at 33%. Now let's add in Mario. What I think is worth noting here is that at the beginning of Sonic's career, each new game was connecting more successfully than the last. While it seems Mario in the beginning struggled to find his feet. It's important to state that I think Nintendo established the foundation for compelling platforming before Sonic arrived on the scene. But even so, it's clear that your games were maturing at a promising rate.
And then you had a rough transition to 3D. Oh my god, if he says that line, I'm going to gift 5 memberships to the channel. On my mother's life, please say the line, please say the line, please say the line.
Now the reason I've been adding in Mario is to show you that as a competitive platform game, he's still connecting with his audience and pulling in huge revenue. Especially in this age where the platform game is no longer king of the industry. Mario is doing something right here, and I think it's safe to say, judging by your very low and chaotic shifts in ratings, it's something that hasn't become clear to you yet. This information is telling us that there is a disconnect happening between your games and your audience.
I mean, technically you're not wrong. You're not wrong, but like, I think if we could, like, yeah, there was definitely a dark period down here, but then it's like, relatively speaking, it's not been like Mario and Sonic haven't been that far in terms of like, at least if we're going by review scores. Again, there was definitely a dark period down here, that's for sure. And then it was getting better, and then like obviously Boom was like a fall from grace a bit. I feel like he's presenting it a little bit disingenuously, but we'll continue. We'll see if he goes anywhere with this, you know? A little bit disingenuous with his data plucking, but we'll let him go for now. Let's see.
And I think I know what it is. So here I will present my ideas while at the same time explaining what I believe are the problems we're fixing.
Alright, go for it.
So let's bring in Sonic.
Okay.
First thing to notice is the art style. We're steering away from the 3D.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna be honest, brother. The Sonic Adventure 2, what's it? Voice mixing is getting a bit annoying. I'm gonna be honest with you, brother. It's really annoying. Really can't. Whew, brother. All right.
models you've been using for the last 17 years, and bringing in a more organic aesthetic through paint and water brush. Colors remain relatively the same, but Sonic's lean and a bit more animal.
Oh, he's actually being serious. I thought he was just using this as like an example. This is how he wants to redesign Sonic? I thought he was joking. I thought it was like just like oh, he's just using this as an example of what like a Sonic game could look like. It's a little, yeah, we're definitely getting into the pretentious zone. This, I can't say I'm a big fan, I'm gonna be honest. I can't say I'm a big fan of this.
As opposed to your fuller, more attitude.
And also, like, the implication is that, like, it's Sonic's art style that's the problem. I've never really... Of all the things, guys, to complain about, like, Sonic, I wouldn't say the art style is the problem. If there's one thing I'm going to give Sega, like, the one thing that I think they fucking suck at, is that they can never take the momentum of a good game and keep doing it. That's what fucking sucks about Sega. Like, we literally said to them for years, we told them for years, just make more games like Sonic Generations, please. Like, Sonic Forces? No. Could you not, please? Could you not do that? We just want... Oh, Mania? Could we get more Mania, please? The Superstars? No. We wanted more Mania. If anything, that's the biggest issue with Sonic. Not like how he looks.
He has a backpack symbolizing adventure, and his gloves and socks are gone. He's wide-eyed and vulnerable. He's still fast, but isn't cocky about it. In fact, he doesn't have much expression at all. He's a blank canvas.
If anything, one of the most iconic things about Sonic is his attitude. That's one of the... You just taken one of the coolest things about... If anything, that was like the thing that made Sonic like one of the coolest things in the 90s. This is just... No, Mr. Review Man, what have you done? What have you done? No attitude? Like, easily, even if you're not a Sonic guy, right now, chat, you can think of a Sonic quote that stuck with you. Gotta go fast, Sonic's the name speeds my game, you're too slow, I'll play with you some other time. He's equipping Andy, he's fucking amazing at that. That's like one of the coolest things about Sonic. Hey, there's no time to rest. Oh yeah, this is happening. Like, if anything, like, that's one of the things I'm slightly disappointed about, like, modern Sonic, should I say, is that, like, they've kind of taken the quippiness down a little. I get why they've done it, don't get me wrong, but, like, it's a bit, I'm like, you know, but, like, if you're removing it entirely, talk about low-budget flights, no food or movies, I'm out of here. Come on, that's crazy. You're gonna remove all of that? It's crazy.
Yes. So, while I think the overall spirit and feel for Sonic is there, it's a little bit different. Why? Because he isn't designed to appeal to children. And Sega, this is why I believe your games aren't connecting anymore. You're targeting the wrong demographic.
What? Oh my god! Firstly, Sega, please stop saying it like that. Of all the things to complain about Sonic, the fact that he's geared, like, for everyone is not one of the things I'm complaining about. Oh my, he's actually just Shadow the Hedgehog, isn't he? Oh my god! We know what to do, chat. We know what we got to do now. It's literally just this, isn't it? It's just this again, isn't it? It's just this again, isn't it, chat? It's just this again, isn't it? Yes. I want him to do this, but make it good this time. That's all he wants. That's all he wants.
Let me explain.
Go on.
Sonic 1 was released in '91, and this was the ad.
Gotta go. Hey, guy, you're the first serious gamer I've seen all morning. Check this out. Brand new 16-bit Super Nintendo with Super Mario World. Wow!
What's this one?
Oh, this is the Sonic the Hedgehog from Sega Genesis. Look at these radical colors, huh?
Wow, Sonic's fast, too.
No, over here.
I like Genesis, and it costs a lot less.
Wait, kid, that game
I'll
there.
take Sonic and Genesis.
I knew that.
Sonic the Hedgehog. More action, more speed. Sega Genesis. It's a whole lot more for less.
So it's pretty clear that because of the "this is cooler" approach, this was targeted at kids and young teens between 6 and 15.
Yeah.
Judging by those sales and ratings we saw earlier, you pretty much nailed it. Now let's watch an ad from 2014 Sonic Boom.
Let's rock!
I got this.
Oh yeah!
Don't you do it?
Oh no. We're better at this in our world. Sonic Boom, Rise of Lyric. You can pre-order now.
Yeah, like that is fine. Like, what do you? I was still. Well, I'm willing to see what the point is he's trying to prove with that, but like, yeah, they're both aimed generally at like younger demographics. It's not trying to do like the cool, yeah, Sonic is cooler. But like, I think that approach just doesn't work in the modern day anymore. So they kind of changed their ad direction. I would say the ad was fine. It's not the worst thing I've seen. It's not the best thing I've seen. It's fine. Okay.
Cute and slapstick.
Yeah.
I'd say you're still aiming for that same age group.
Yeah, I would say so.
Not that this ad was bad. Sega, here is the
Hang on. The ad was bad. Hang on.
aiming for that same age group. Not that this ad was bad.
Not that it's
Sega,
bad, okay.
here is the main problem. The fan base you established with the first Sonic game in 91 are
Okay.
now living 24 years older here in 2015.
Okay.
While your original fans who hold you most dear are in their 30s,
Okay.
you're still aiming for that same age group and disregarding your original fan base.
And this is a model. Is he gonna? Okay. Here's the interesting thing. Is he gonna acknowledge the fact that this is something that's worked for like every franchise that's aimed for kids in the modern day? Like, that's what I'm saying. Is that bad? It still works for Pokemon. I'd say it works fantastically for Pokemon. Again, much to the detriment of fans like me, maybe, but it still works fantastically for Pokemon. It still works fantastically for Mario. Is there any other franchise I can think of at the top of my head? I mean, I guess it still works if we're being like, if we're aging up the demographic a little. It still works fantastically for Call of Duty. Like, Call of Duty is still aiming for like, Call of Duty was aiming for like a teenage fan base back in 2009, which was me, and I think it's still kind of aiming for that fan base now, and it's still going strong. Like, that's not the issue. The issue with the implication you're making is that like, in order for a long-standing franchise to like kind of keep going, it has to age up with its audience, which is not true in the slightest. At least for a lot of long-standing series have like proven that. Minecraft's another good example as well. So I'm like, I'm gonna we'll see if he cooks. I don't think he's gonna, but let him cook.
And guess what? Your original fan base now have jobs with money to buy your games. They now have extensive knowledge of the Sonic universe they will most likely share somewhere on the internet, aka free, positive online publicity. An Australian study held by Bond University shows that the average gamer is 30 years old.
Oh no, he's doing the average gamer thing. Oh no. Oh, brother. You got all these slick graphics, but you're not going to get past me, brother. The average gamer is about in their 30s, but this accounts for people. This also counts people playing phone games, which aren't the kind of gamer that probably cares about Sonic. And that's just the facts, really. And take it from someone who is 30 years old. I do in fact have all the money to, not all the money, obviously, I'm exaggerating a lot, but I do have the disposable income to buy video games. I do. The time to play them, though, not so much. So, and also it comes to a head that, at least from my, again, this is more subjective from my experience, but it comes to the fact that, excuse me, in the gaming spaces especially, they tend to skew, at least the active gamer fan base that's probably going to give you the positive online publicity you're using this point, generally tends to in fact skew quite younger. Like a lot of the more active gamers that tend to like participate in gaming discourse tend to be teenage, early 20s. People my age tend to, at least unless they already have an established big fan base, tend not to stay in this sort of thing. Like, how often are you bumping into like gamers that are like in their 30s, like fighting in the trenches? That doesn't really happen too often. Teenagers, yeah, all the time. I see most of you guys in the chat are probably like the prime age to be like in the trenches of gamer discourse. Which, hey, you knock yourself out. You'll get bored of it eventually, but knock yourself out. But people like me, I'm just too old for that, bro. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just how it is. Like, you age out of that sort of thing. So the positive online publicity thing, I don't think works to your favor neither. We do have the income to buy games, and as for connection to the Sonic universe, again, most 30-year-olds probably have a wife or kids or like a job that they care about more than they do Sonic, if I'm going to be honest. So, flawed. The argument is flawed. Let's put it that way. Fundamentally, should we say fundamentally? Is that the first fundamentally flawed of 2025? I don't think I aged that. I just got boring. Yeah, because what you notice is that when you get older, the arguments tend to stay the same. You know, like there's a reason the Pokemon cycle is a thing. Like I've literally seen it happen in real time. Like I've seen people go, Gen 5 sucks. Gen 4 either sucks or is good depending on how it feels. Gen 3 was the best, and Gen 2 is where the series peaked. And of course, as the gens have gone older, the cycle still stays the same. Do you know what I mean? Like it's all the same. It's all the same. It's all the same in the end of the day, you know? I've stayed away from the discourse because it hurts my brain. I feel like, and I feel like I'm 30 even though I'm not. Yeah, it's probably for the best. It's not meant for everyone, you know? I don't think you need to target your ads towards your core fans because the core fans already know about the game. Yeah, exactly. You're trying to get new people in there, you know?
So your games are actually going to be played longer and by more people if this is where you're targeting.
No, not necessarily.
Not only that, the age group you're aiming for just don't care about Sonic anymore.
No. No, that's wrong. Like this is that's like, is that the most boomer take I've ever seen? Like, yeah, Sonic has new fans coming in all the time. Like, it's like me saying, yeah, Pokemon doesn't have any new fans. It's like there's every single gen has like every single gen is someone's first game. You know what I mean? Like, what insane thing to say. That just screams of old. That just screams of old. Yeah, like even when I go outside now, like if I do make the mistake of going out to my local high street between 3 and 5 p.m. when all the kids are coming out of school, I still see kids with like Sonic backpacks. So and if Sonic has that much of a appeal to the normal cultural zeitgeist, it must still be big. So this is just wrong. Now, granted, this was before the Sonic movie. I see someone mentioning the Sonic movie. This was before the Sonic movie, so maybe not so much. But Sonic's still big, even in like the mid 2010s when Sonic was kind of in a malaise. It's still pretty good. God, I really should still be resting my voice. I'm pretty sure Boom was trying to make people, new audience into the series. What the hell? What the hell? What was that? That was weird. Yeah, I don't know. Every time you play the video, can you play this? Play what video? Oh, is he Robotnik? Is that what it is? Oh, time for a promotion!
I'm more interested in the next action shooter or sports game. Why? Because it's cool,
Right,
but not only that. The age group you're aiming for just don't care about Sonic anymore. They're more interested in the next action shooter or sports game.
Okay, you just this is such a oh my lord, what boomer take! Good lord, you idiot! Oh yes, all the kids these days are too busy playing their FIFAs and their Fortnites. Robots, let's roll out! That's how you just sound old. As if I've not seen it. Yes, you make it seem like kids are like one big conglomerate. I mean, they're a conglomerate in how fucking stupid they all are, because they're all stupid, but they all like different shit. What are we doing here? Like, I have one cousin that's like really into Fortnite, and I have another that's like really into Roblox, and then there's another one that's like fucking into Pokemon. Like, what are we doing here? This is such a boomer thing. Kids these days just like their Fortnites. Good lord, what is happening here? Old.
Why? Because it's cool to be playing those games. They don't have an emotional connection with platformers like your older gamers do.
Yes, they do. What it all depends on is what the kids in their school are playing. Like, if a lot of kids in school are playing Fortnite, then yeah, they're gonna probably play Fortnite to hang out with their friends. If some of them are into Pokemon, then yeah, they're probably gonna play Pokemon to be into that. Yeah, like kids are very susceptible to like what the other kids in school are playing. You're right, but you make the very wrong implication that it's all about like FIFA or COD or Fortnite. I've seen the same happen with like Pokemon as well and Sonic. Do you know what? Whenever I see takes like this, I'm so glad that I'm old enough to have like nieces, nephews, and younger cousins, because like it gives me like an insight into what like the younger kids are playing these days. And to some degree, you're right. Yeah, some of them like cranking 90s in Fortnite. Some are still playing other games too. A lot of them have Nintendo Switches. Like what are we doing here, bro? What are we doing here? Oh my lords! Oh my lords! This is actually he's booming so hard. And I'm the 30-year-old as well. I bet I was older than this guy when he made this video. Bro, like, how do I feel like the advocacy for like young people when I'm 30? I'm 30. I'm going to turn 31 in May. Why am I here? Just to suffer? Why are you guys all old? Stop being old! old. It's way more fun to be into the cool shit people are into these days. Yes, I love my boomer shit. I am so happy I grew up in the era I did. Don't get me wrong. I am never more happier. God knows. God is real. And he's up there and he knows how grateful I am that I grew up as a 90s kid. But hey, I fucking love Zero Build's Fortnite as well. Okay. Can we not love both? Can we not just love both? Good lord, man. Good fucking lord. Oh man, I can't believe this. I can't believe this.
Sega, your demographic is here in the 18 to 30-year-old bracket. Okay, with this newfound knowledge, we need to bring some maturity into the Sonic universe, and this isn't done through guns and action. It's through strong, compelling gameplay, and a character the player actually enjoys playing as. So let's go back to Sonic's new design. The first thing to go is all voice acting, so any character development will be through movement and animation. So
Wait, did he say no? Hang on, did he say no voice acting? Hang on.
So let's go back to Sonic's new design. The first thing to go is all voice acting, so any character...
The first thing to go is no voice acting. So no, I'll play with you some other time. No fucking, none of that? None of it?
The development will be through movement and animation. So one question we need to ask is, what is his personality in relation to his ability? Sonic is fast, and in the past we've seen him embrace this ability with a too cool for school persona, and this was totally relevant in 91. Now, not so much. We need a character we can grow with.
If anything, I think it's even more relevant now. Like, don't get me wrong, like, if anything, that, like, kind of 90s style of, like, quippery is still, like, I would say is quite fun in the modern day. If you're asking me personally, again, I'm not going to do the thing where I talk on behalf of everyone, but I would say the fact that it's something that isn't really done as much now is a little bit of novelty, has a little bit of novelty to it. It's the same with like Shadow kind of being a bit of an edge character. Like edgy characters just aren't really made as much. Like maybe back in like the 2000s when like the Shadow the Hedgehog game was being made, it was like a bit much. Because I think like, you know, the 90s and the 2000s were like a bit edgy as a whole. So someone trying to be a bit too edgy didn't really work back then. I would say like in the modern day, it kind of works a bit better, you know? So I would disagree with this, if I'm being honest. Like, at least it feels like to me. Again, I'm not going to do a thing where I talk for everyone. But I feel like this sort of, like, attitude design kind of works very well in the modern day. At least it feels like it. I don't know, brother. Spider-Man, he quips and he's still huge. Yeah, exactly. Like, everyone loves a bit of quippery, you know? A little bit of quippery.
So Sonic's idle stance is a little bit cautious. Like the player, he's a little bit unsure of what lies ahead. He's vulnerable, and this means we're on the journey with him. When Sonic runs, he keeps that cautiousness. Now here is where I want to propose something new. When Sonic jumps, he doesn't become a ball straight away like the original games. A second action like the X button triggers a charge attack, and here he is powerful against enemies. Down and X smashes Sonic into the ground. Let's call this the body slam.
Yeah.
Left or right and X gives Sonic a kind of air dash. While in his basic jump mode, he's vulnerable. And this adds a great tension into the gameplay by not making Sonic too powerful. The player is required to use fast finger work and quick thinking. I think the spirit of Sonic is that keep moving approach, and I believe this keeps to that, but just in a different way compared to the approach of your most recent games.
To be honest, when you're describing the gameplay, it's not the worst thing ever. I wouldn't mind playing a Sonic game that tries that. It's everything else that's not winning me over, brother, I'm going to be honest.
Which brings me to what I believe is problem number 2, the way you're using Sonic's speed. Speed is the identity of the series, and it's moved around a lot.
Yeah, I think Bro Sabina said it's like, it sounds fun, but why does it need to be a new and improved Sonic? Exactly. Like, you're coming up with a cool design for a game. Why does it have to be Sonic, though? Why couldn't this be like Sonic's younger brother, Santiago, you know? Can we play as Santiago the Hedgehog? The origins of Sonic?
Pun intended. The way speed was translated from 2D to 3D had completely changed the way players approached Sonic games. Your fanbase had to learn a different Sonic language. And in the mid-90s, when we were being introduced to polygonal graphics, I think most of your fanbase were open to that. Personally, I think it's important to evolve, especially in the fast-growing world of game design. So I totally respect you for your courage to experiment with Sonic's design. However, without needing to elaborate on the subject that some of your experiments were horribly unpolished, you haven't arrived yet at a platform where Sonic's speed can thrive in a 3D environment.
I would say Sonic Generations does that, but okay.
You've tried auto runners, you've tried slowing him down, you've turned him into a hedgehog version of a werewolf. You've added a combat system and even taken that away, and you've tried making them even faster. After all these years and these different attempts, I believe we're left with something without an identity. What is a Sonic game? I think it's time you realized that Sonic's speed thrived best in a 2D landscape. What helps me
I'm very interested to see how you expand on this, because I would say speed in 2D Sonic never really worked that well for me because of the screen size being so small. I think it worked pretty well in Mania, but even then in Mania, I really liked it when they slowed down the gameplay to make you platform a bit more. So I'm interested to see what he has to say about the speed in 2D Sonic. I'm interested.
To make this point is Sonic Generations, released in 2011. Your highest ranking console game in 10 years, with 79%. Not only did you give a small nod to your original fanbase in the nostalgia, you gave Sonic only 2 dimensions to play with, for 50% of the game at least. So I believe the best way to use Sonic's speed isn't necessarily in a fast manner, but more so in a momentum-based system where the player determines how fast or slow they wish to proceed.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Let's talk about rings.
You want to expand on that, or like maybe give an example? Like, okay, you're just gonna move on without expanding? Okay. Because like I really liked it earlier when you showed me like an example of what his moveset could look like. Like this was interesting. I don't really think it works for Sonic, but this was interesting. But then it's like you said it works better in 2D, and you're like, oh okay, okay, we're just gonna move on. Well, that's a bit disappointing. Very disappointing actually. 2D Sonic speed is limited by the possibility of being blindsided, but there's ways around it. 3D obviously has the problem of levels need to be massive compared to other platformers. That's true. How would we work around that? I don't think this guy's going to explain.
Sonic staple. Collecting 100 rings gives you a life and acts as a sort of shield when you take damage.
I like, by the way, just as a note, I do like how they handle rings in like the modern games, the more modern games, should I say, in that when you get hit once, like you lose a bunch of them, but not all of them. And then when you get hit a second time, if you still don't have a lot of rings, then you lose all of them. I like that. I like that way better.
I think I'd go so far to say the concept of limited lives is, ironically, dead. This is a very broad statement, but excluding Mario, most of the best modern platformers have taken the concept of lives out of the picture. I suggest we do the same. We want the player to proceed in your game. This does make rings a bit useless, but here I want to present a totally new concept to the core gameplay in Sonic.
The backpack, oh my gosh.
Referencing again the survey held by Bonn University, the most popular gaming genre across all ages is surprisingly puzzle games, with first-person shooters and action games close behind, platformers being the least popular. I think you know this, which is why you've tried to blend genres by bringing in slower puzzle-based sections in your latest game. I say puzzle here very hesitantly. The definition of a puzzle is a problem designed to test ingenuity or knowledge. Like a jigsaw, we have all the pieces, but it's the question of how those pieces fit together that generates the problem. And there's a great feeling that comes when the solution finally clicks in the mind of the player. This is compelling gameplay.
Yes, true.
In Sonic Boom, however, our ingenuity and knowledge aren't being tested. Without spending too long on this, pushing buttons in a linear progression to proceed is not considered a puzzle, or even interesting gameplay. The button is there, and we press it. There's no need for this to exist, and it comes across as a cheap way to create an ebb and flow in momentum. So here I have an idea, which I believe solves our ring problem and our puzzle problem at the same time.
Go for it.
Remember those amazing power-ups you had in your highest ranking game, Sonic 3 and Knuckles? I want to bring them back, but also connect the collection of rings with them in a currency sort of fashion. If you press the Y button, Sonic opens his backpack and you see the 4 power-up boxes. 50 rings essentially buys you one of these power-ups and you bring it out into the world. Invincibility, fire, lightning, and the water shield. Not only do they give their respective protection, but we can bring in creative ways to use them in simple puzzle scenarios. And the important thing here is, we have all the jigsaw pieces. You could find a secret area with a road of spikes. The only way over them is you bring out an invincibility box, and this leads to a hidden collectible. You could have puzzles where you need to keep a button pressed down to hold a door open. Enemies could even use them. You could finish a boss by forcing him to open a lightning box, but the shield brings out a bunch of spikes that destroys the ship. This completely expands options for level design, the way Sonic interacts with his environment, and also adds huge replayable value. While
Interesting. Is it the right direction for Sonic to go?
at the same time, giving the collection and protection of rings some weight. Sega, this is just one creative solution, but the bottom line is this. Respect the intellect of the player. Do we want to push buttons placed in front of us just to kill time? I don't think so.
I don't think so neither. But again, the fact that you keep... Again, I understand that at the time this video came out, Sonic Boom was the latest Sonic game. But the fact that Sonic Boom was kind of like a one-time game... Like, again, if... let's say Sonic Boom 2 came out, and you made this video, that would have made it very clear that, oh, this is the trend that Sonic wants to do with that Sega wants to do with Sonic from this point onwards. So you like describing to them how they can make the puzzle-based game mechanics more interesting is cool. But what I would say to you is that that's obvious for history. The time has proven that that's not the direction they went with. So while this is cool, it's like one of those things where does it necessarily have to work for Sonic, or could you do your own little scrimbly bimbly indie and make it work there? You know, I'm just like, I don't know, like, it's weird that you decided to change the puzzle game. Is that you decided to like refine the puzzle game aspects of Sonic Boom, when at least at the time even, I thought that, oh, they're not going to carry on this. They're going to like move on to a different kind of Sonic game. So it's weird. It's just a bit weird. Does it make sense to me? Like, instead of like coming up with it, like, I liked it when he came up with like ideas for more Sonic momentum in this area, right? Because like Sonic is built around momentum. It's always been built around momentum, right? So you inventing like a whole new moveset for Sonic was actually quite interesting. Do I think it necessarily works for a Sonic game? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But when you like come up with this whole thing, I'm just like, it's cool, but like, is it what a Sonic game needs? I don't know. You'd have to tell me, brother. If anything, this whole video would have worked better if you like made a proof of concept. Like if you made actually a playable demo, that would have been quite cool. Because like when you come up with these ideas in a vacuum, I'm just like, does it work for a Sonic game? That's what I want. That's the question that you need to answer, and it's a very hard question to answer when Sonic, for the most part, has been consistently about like momentum and speed. You know, so I'm just like, I don't know. They seem like cool ideas, but just make your own platformer. I don't know, like make your own scrimbly bimbly. Like that's all I have to say this whole time. Just like make your own game, okay? Make your own game, little gap. This gives a very interesting idea, but one that would work way better. Yeah, exactly. Everyone's saying the same thing as me. It's like, what do you want me to say to you, brother? What do you want me to say to you, little gap? You know? And like this is someone like me who's generally quite nice. I imagine the Sonic fan base as a whole at the time probably raked this guy over the coals and made him delete his whole channel. You know? You make backpack boy, and I'd play it. I mean, he definitely has some cool ideas again, but like, why does it? The idea that this whole video is kind of like prove. First thing, it comes off as very pretentious, right? Like, Sonic is broken, I'm gonna fix him, and it's like. Already you're kind of like treading on like, already you're like at -2, you know, because like you've already like angered the Sonic fans enough, and you're gonna come up with this, and then you come up with some ideas that seem cool, actually a lot of ideas that seem cool, but then it's like, does it necessarily have to be a Sonic game though, you know? Does it? That's the question you have to ask us, you know? I don't know, brother. Let's just continue now.
Now let's talk briefly on this last subject, the story. With no voice acting to guide us, story will be told through animation and suggestion. Which is fine, because we don't need everything over-explained for us, and we don't need a complex storyline to keep us compelled. The maturity is all in the gameplay. But that said, we do need a reason to press the forward button. So let's look at the opening cutscene for your most successful game, Sonic 3.
And also, like, one thing that kind of like bogs this video down, you referenced it a bunch. I've not really pointed it out, but like, I guess it bears pointing out now, is that you keep referencing Sonic 3 as like the best-selling Sonic. I think in your graph, like there's other Sonic games that weren't too far behind. So like if we go, this is sales, where's the reviews graph? Like there were other Sonic, like yeah, obviously Sonic 3 is the highest, but like you make it seem like the next game was like miles lower, and it's like, no, Sonic Adventure's like right there, you know? And Sonic Adventure 2 is not that far behind it neither. Sonic Hero, good lord knows how Sonic, Sonic Rush. Sonic Rush isn't too far behind neither. And Sonic Generations and Colors, there's a notable step down, but it isn't like crazy different, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, Sonic 3 compared to, I don't know, like Sonic the Hedgehog 06, you know, or Sonic the Black Knight, fair. But I'm just like, you make it seem like this such a drastic step down. Like, I guess basing off of like, you know, the original, quadrilogy, so to speak, that made the game so successful, fair enough, I suppose, but I'm just like, I had the whole, like, you kind of framed this whole video and it's like, we need to go back to where Sonic 3 was, and I'm just like, I mean, I don't know, brother, like, this is crazy work. That's all I gotta say, crazy work. But let's continue.
Opening cutscene for your most successful game, Sonic 3. Okay, that was over in about 20 seconds. In this cutscene, we meet all the important characters, we establish who our enemy is, and we are given a motive for progressing through the game. And this is all that's needed. Sega, keep the story simple and give the player a simple motive. Okay, with that said,
I mean, not necessarily wrong, but sure. Okay.
let's look at a brief overview of the new design. We've established that your target audience is now adults and no longer children. We bring Sonic back into 2 dimensions, we remove all voice acting, and we shift Sonic's appearance to feel more vulnerable. A new moveset is introduced, which adds great momentum-based gameplay. And we've introduced a new game mechanic through the backpack and power-ups, which opens up huge gameplay possibilities and replay value. Sega, this all comes from a place of love for Sonic. The very first game I owned was Sonic 1 on the Master System.
Oh, here it is. Here comes the lore, guys. My father bought me Sonic when I was a kid. My father.
I fell in love with gaming instantly. Your mascot made me love games and art, and it's been hard to see your franchise get crushed into the dirt. Even if you don't take any of this on board, I hope you are very intelligent with how you approach your next Sonic game. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. Love, Javid.
Javid, that was your name. Javid? I'll give you points for your present, not so much your audio. Your visual flair was very, very good. Your audio presentation, not so much. It was giving Sonic Adventure 2. What's going on here? Sonic redesign. Yes, we must make him more gamers. Yes, so I can steal the emeralds. Snooping at you, do I see? I just think that you're definitely doing a bit of huffing your own. You were high on your own supply. Let's put it that way. You were definitely high on your own supply when you were making this, because some of your ideas were really good. Some of them also screamed, "What the hell are we doing here?" And I really hope you've made a Backpack Boy someday. I really do. I really hope you've made it. Some of your data was really misleading. Again, you paint this narrative that like Sonic 3 was like the last good Sonic game effectively, when there's been other games that are like pretty solid. Again, maybe not as high as Sonic 3, but ranked decently high too. So I'm just like, what was the point there? Some of your points were really weak in that, like, I think your point saying, we need to go back to 2D. I was like, oh, why? Refuses to elaborate. And I'm like, oh. It's a shame because you elaborate quite well on your other points, even if I thought you were wrong. But on the point of why we should go back to 2D, you just decided not to. And again, all the other cooler things that I thought, hey, that's actually not a bad idea, would work for a game that probably isn't Sonic. I don't know why you're insisting on shoving this into Sonic. And also, it's insistent on the target audience is now adults. Just screams of kids these days. Oh, hang on. Sorry, my bad. Kids these days are just playing Fortnite and FIFA, and I can't be dealing with that anymore. They don't appreciate the real Sonic fans. That's how it all came across. So, not the worst video ever, but I can definitely understand why the Sonic fan base decided to rake you over the coals for this one. Let's put it that way. Very strange. Very strange. El Skibbity. Should we do some exploring? Guys, stop disliking the video. Guys, stop disliking the video. You didn't make it. Not me. I still can't believe you made such an iconic character look like a generic 2017 platformer protagonist. Well said, Tails7626. Well said. I remember watching this. The bro was the embodiment of never let bro cook again. Never? Never ever, not even once. I mean, I think he did alright. I mean, I wouldn't have him in my kitchen again. Let's put it that way. In fact, it doesn't have much expression as well. Yeah, yes, people love that. Imagine being permanently stuck in a level because you didn't have enough rings to proceed. That would be quite funny. Let's put a backpack in to symbolize adventure. Yeah, it's like the backpack was just like it was such a 2017 Kickstarter protagonist thing, you know. Yes, let's give him a backpack, gamers, because gamers love backpacks. Yes, it's like Finn from Adventure Time. I think that's his name. The redesign highlights the issue with recoloring the arms. The reason that blue arms work on Boom and movie Sonic's because they're 3D. Sonic's arms were peach originally because they were blue in the sprite. You'd never be able to tell where his body ends and his body begins in his profile, especially when he's moving. Look at the rear design, I could barely tell his arms were holding onto the backpack straps. Yeah, neither did I. It took me a while as well. So that should tell you that's a problem. True. The Virgin video delete was the chat archive. You need to stop aiming for your target demographic and start aiming at fans to accomplish the goal. Let's literally remove everything the fans liked about the character. Crazy, Jarvid, crazy. You made an Ori game with a Sonic skin. It does look very Ori coded, doesn't it, chat? It does look very Ori coded. I was going to say that. Gives zero design solutions, only ideas. Crazy. A cynical retoolment solely for focus groups. This comes from a place of loves for the franchise. He was old. This guy's old. Honestly, these guys are fixing Sonic just to strip everything that made Sonic good in the first place. Yeah. It was listen, this video didn't age too well. Let's put it that way. Why would Sonic need to buy power-ups out of his own backpack? Don't they have I think doesn't Adventure Time guy have the same system in multiverses? I think it works quite well in that game. I think it can work. Again, it's not a bad idea. It's just for a Sonic game? I don't know, you'd have to do a lot of convincing. I find this interesting, not because I agree with his direction to take his character. He managed to completely understand why Sonic's failing while also missing the mark on what made him popular again. He gets why sales and ratings fluctuate compared to Mario, but understands that Sonic's targeting the wrong demographics, so he turns Sonic into an indie puzzle platformer because that's what's popular? Nobody would like this. Maybe if it was a really good game, but that's not what Sonic needs. This video had a rush transition into execution. I love it. Can we see that again, chat? Can we see it again? Let's see it again. I want to see it just for the record. Where's the part where he introduces the redesign? Here we go.
So here I will present my ideas while at the same time explaining what I believe are the problems we're fixing.
Where's the? Where is it?
So let's bring in Sonic.
Yeah.
First thing to notice is the art.
Yeah. Interesting. Very, very interesting video.